Hi everyone, I wanted to talk today about balance. I've been reading a fantastic magazine called The New Philosopher, and they have an excellent edition on balance. And one of the sections in this magazine has been looking at the perspectives of different wise people in history. So first, they look at Confucius and his idea of the doctrine of the mean and of harmony and equilibrium. And kind of the impression I got from reading a little bit about that was it's a bit like understanding that it's like imagine walking on a tightrope, and you have to walk on the tightrope to kind of keep finding your balance, right? If you keep standing still on the tightrope, you're going to fall off at some point. So it's about moving forward on the tightrope and having this balancing equilibrium, and often it can be a dynamic equilibrium. I think one of the things that's important to recognize about balance is it doesn't just have to be fixed in the sense of like the weighing scales, right? So you'll see the weighing scale like this or like this, often like the figure of justice holding the weighing scales with the blindfold on to symbolize that justice is blind in that sense. But as I understand in sort of more Chinese ideals and thinking, it's more about dynamical balance. It's about flow and energy. It's sort of like understanding that life has a beat, and that it's a bit more like the balance of a good jazz composition, really, about understanding that there is dynamism to balance as well. It's not about being fixed. And then there is this mystic, Simone Weil, and she said this really cool thing. It cannot be expected that a man without grace should be just. And I thought that was a really cool line, and grace and elegance have been on my mind a lot this year, and understanding what does it mean to be a graceful man? What does it mean to be an elegant man? Because I think that those are qualities that are really absent today, and are really actually what we aspire to be, right? I think they lead to joy, they lead to happiness. To have grace, to be able to be soft, to be kind is maybe one of the highest virtues of all, because isn't that what life is for? Of course, be hard charging, be an innovator, be all these things. Those are important qualities too. However, they're also exhausting and inherently unbalanced, right? Inherently unbalanced. And so if we are to follow people, having grace as a leader is a really important quality, being able to make sure one can keep their balance in these very tumultuous times. Then there's, of course, Gautama Buddha, the middle path. Very quickly, he took, one of his cool approaches was the Eightfold Path. And I think that's a really nice way of thinking about it, right? I imagine it as like the Eightfold Path is like an octagon, and essentially each one of the points with its right understanding, right thought, right speech, and so on, they're kind of like emitters in the octagon. And essentially, if you get an effective tuning of your overall system in that octagon, then you will be able to achieve a resonant effect across your life that brings it into balance. So it's a really cool way of thinking about these 8 qualities that need to be specifically tuned individually and also as a whole in order to be able to find the peace that we seek as a soul. Then there is one of my favorite philosophers, Hannah Arendt. She is a 20th century philosopher. She is famous. One of the examples is for coining the term the banality of evil when she was looking at the Holocaust trials. And she makes more the point about the legal systems. And I think that, that brings a hard edge to balance, that it's not just about, airy-fairy and a bit of balance here. No, we need to have a true sense of justice, a true sense of right and wrong. We need to be equipped with infrastructure that enables our societies to progress, because if we have too much injustice, if we have too much unbalance, really, it's beyond good and evil in the sense of trying to say what's right and wrong. It's just about understanding that justice provides balance to highly complex systems, and so if a society cannot find its balance, it's at great risk of destroying itself. Brexit being an excellent example of that. Then Aristotle, obviously one of the big heavyweights, and he kind of sort of makes a similar approach to many of the others, and sort of talks about the idea that everything in moderation, including moderation, basically. Like it's nothing wrong with partying your face off. Like I enjoy partying my face off too, but partying my face off every single day, all the time is not sustainable for me being the man I want to be. And so it's about choosing when to do that and when to also enjoy moderation and quiet and peace and time for myself. So what would I like to add to that? Well, I was thinking, if I was ever invited to be able to share what do I think would be important for balance, something that's really helped me this year has been something I call the null point, which is essentially zero. And I have found that going through a few changes this year that, sometimes it's like inside the soul system becomes this like firestorm, right? Like you're literally like inside, just like all this energy, everything is raging, just, I remember sometimes I had to just like lie down and just calm down because everything was just so intense. And it's a bit like, it struck me as being a bit like a ship in a storm, and thrown around. And if I keep trying to, in a sense, chase the storm, I'm always going to be in the storm. If I keep reacting to it, I'm in a way multiplying the storm more, because I am the storm. That's the irony, right? So to bring peace to my soul, to bring the tranquility that I'm really looking for, it's about being nothing, actually. Being no one, being a nobody, just calming everything down. And so I visualize that as imagine being a hurricane and literally trying to transform myself from a hurricane into a beautiful day at the sea, right? That's basically the plan. And that's not something that can happen like this, but with consistent and persistent practice, especially day by day, doing things like yoga and meditation, that soul storm can be quieted down. And really listening to it and giving myself the time to just breathe, calm, slow down has really helped me find a really profound sense of balance that is easily accessible to me now. So in a way, I can always return to the null point. I imagine it as like a grid, right? So you've got the X, Y axes, but they're actually positive, negative, positive, negative. So you have a cross. And so 0, 0, 0, 0 is like where everything is nothing in a way. And that's the whole point. Everything is nothing. And so there's no need to be anyone or be anything. There's no need to conform to any ideals. There's no need to meet expectations. That just are, just utterly are. Just is what you, instead of being this, it is what it is, but you are what you are. I am what I am. I am what I am, right? So there's some thoughts on balance. I hope you enjoyed those. Enjoying a nice cup of tea, smoky Earl Grey, delicious. Any thoughts? Leave in the comments below. Bye.